How to work with letting agents. Hello and welcome to the Property Unleashed YouTube channel with me, Mark Fitzgerald. It's great to have you joining me here today. So today let's talk about how you're going to work with letting agents, and also why are letting agents going to want to work with you when doing rent to rent. So let's really delve deep onto this and let's cover this subject. If you know anything about me, I've built up a successful rent-to-rent business using landlords directly and also by using letting agents as well. So I can tell you the methods that I've used, which has really helped me to grow my business and to move me forward. I now help others to do the same. So if you're interested in anything like that, please look at the description. Check out the free resources that we offer and that I offer you to help you on your property investing journey. And also feel free to visit www.thepropertyunleashed.com, where everything is there and you can find out more. But let's move on to why we're going to be working with letting agents. So number one, we've got to make sure that the letting agent knows there's something in it for them. How do we do this? Well, again, I see so many people going in there trying to sell to letting agents, trying to tell them that they can do this, 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 and this. And the letting agents will shut up shop, will pull down a wall and will say, I don't want to work with you. I don't need you. Why would I use your services? You sound like you're a competitor of mine. We need to make sure that they know that by using our services and by working with us, or potentially us working for them, we are helping them. So by looking after the properties, by managing the properties, we are in effect a property management company sort of side of their business. Now you could say to yourself, I still don't get it, Mark. What do you mean by that? Well, the simple thing, or the simple way to look at it is, we're going to take on the property as if we're like a chief tenant. Now, don't get confused when I say chief tenant, because you're thinking then that we're going to do an AST and we're going to sublet the property. Of course, we're not. We own our property management company, i.e. our rent-to-rent business, in whatever strategy, HMOs or serviced accommodation we're doing. So we're going to take basically our services and manage the property on behalf of the letting agent. So the letting agent would do a management agreement with us. They certainly wouldn't do an AST, or we would just do a management agreement or a lease agreement with the landlord directly. Either way is fine. Basically, the letting agent sits in the middle of the deal. So you've got the landlord, you've got yourself, and you've got the letting agent sat in the middle, basically taking a cut. And now some people say, well, the letting agent's getting paid for nothing. Yes, that could very well be the case. Now, what you can do is, if you're doing HMOs or anything, you can ask the letting agents if they can find you tenants, and potentially you could pay them a tenant finder's fee so they could do a bit of marketing and advertising for you. But on a whole, I try to remove the letting agencies completely. I try to just make sure that they get their fee, the landlord gets their fee, and everybody's happy. And when you break that down is, let's say for argument's sake, for just keeping it simple, the gross rent of a property is £2,000. I want to make £500 profit, and then you have the bills and everything else coming out of that. So let's just say for argument's sake, that's £1,000. I can offer the landlord a guaranteed rent of the other last £1,000. The letting agent would take their fee off of the landlord's £1,000, not out of my profit, not out of my deal, depending on how you structure it. But that is how I structure those types of deals. So you might say, well, the landlord's really not going to get a lot. Yes, but that's the landlord's choice. At the end of the day, if the landlord wants to use the management agent and agrees the fee, then they're just happy. Some people don't have mortgages on their property and they just want them looked after. They don't want to keep spending on minor maintenance issues. They don't want to keep spending and paying for fees for a management agent or a letting agency, should I say. They don't want to pay that for a letting agency, going to changing a light bulb and charging them 20, 30, 40 quid just to go in there and sort out little bits and bobs. By having us there, yes, they might not earn as much each month, but when they add all the fees into it, we can probably offer them a better deal than they would get through the agent, through the letting agent. Now, the letting agent's happy because they get their money and they know for a fact that they've got somebody there that's going to look after the property. Why? Because we need to maintain those properties in whatever strategy that we're doing. Again, serviced accommodation or HMOs. We need to maintain the properties to a really good standard to make sure we can keep filling the rooms or keep the occupancy up in the property. So it's in their favour that we are really going to look after their asset. that we are really going to look after our customers, i.e. our holiday makers, our commercial clients, or our tenants. And basically, it's a win-win-win. So again, trying to get that across to any letting agents, you cannot really go in there and explain it the way I've just explained it to you. Now, I hope it makes sense to you, but what we'll do is we'll carry on now, because I want to make sure that you don't try and go in there and just say that to any agents, because that brings us on to the next step, which is don't overcomplicate things. We need to keep things stupid simple, particularly when we're talking to landlords and agents, because if we go into too much detail and we muddy the water too much, it all sounds either too good to be true, or it sounds like they'll never do that. It's too complicated. I'm not bothered. I'm not even listening to it. So we don't want that. We want to make sure that we keep it simple, very clear and precise. So what I would say to the agents is, I have clients that I put into my properties, and basically I like to look after those clients. So I tend to manage the properties myself with my small team. We can do that, and we can offer your landlord a guaranteed rent each month, which A, guarantees that they're going to get their rent. B, means that you're going to be paid each and every month your fee. And C, the property is looked after because we're looking after it to keep our clients, to keep our tenants, to keep whoever it is we want to put in the property happy. How does it benefit them? Well, at the end of the day, we don't even have to talk to the landlord. We can just deal with the agency. So if there is anything wrong with the property, potentially, that we need the landlord's consent to do, or it is their responsibility, we will, of course, just contact the letting agency, speak to them, and they can still speak to the landlord. So we just are an arm, if you like, coming off of that letting agency. We're not tied into them. We're not partners in any way, shape, or form. We are, again, a customer of theirs. But we're offering them this guaranteed rent, this guarantee basically of looking after the property each month. And some agencies will get it, okay? Some agencies won't get it. And more often than not, this is number 3, people won't understand it, we won't get it, and they won't want to do business with you. And you know what? That's fine and completely normal. You speak to 10 agents, you might potentially have 2 people that get it, that quite like the idea. They may take that idea upstairs to their bosses and get shot down. Boom, you need to speak to more people. You need to keep speaking to people. You need to build up the know, like, and trust with them. You need to be consistent and persistent in your approach. And you need to make sure that number 4 is transparency, that you're transparent in what you're offering and what you say you can and can't do. And if it's your first deals, then say, this is my business, this is what I'm building up now, I'm here for the long haul. I always say in rent to rent, it is a business, so set yourself up as a business, set yourself up for success. And that's what my students do on the Rent to Rent Business Builder program. I give them the roadmap and the pathway to set themselves up successfully, and then it's just a matter of getting those deals and bringing those in. That can take a bit of time, but if you stick with it and you do the right things, you will be able to do so. But agents are a fantastic source of this because they're always out there. They're paying for the high street stores that we don't have to pay for. They're paying for the marketing. So if you can actually be consistent and persistent and find an agent that wants to work with you, and there will be somebody somewhere will want to work with you. You can really tap in on that. And the reason why you want to work with them, and potentially they may want to work with you, is because A, you're going to do such a good job looking after the property, and B, by doing such a good job and making their lives easier, they're getting paid for nothing. They're going to be more inclined to bring you more deals. They're going to be more inclined to say, you know, Mark, we've got a deal here, we've got a potential deal there. One of my students, basically, she got her deal through letting agents. She's got 6 deals, all through letting agents. So she saved on all the marketing, she saved on all the hassle of getting out there just by tapping in to agents, just by going through all the agents. And she managed to get 6 deals in 3 months. That is incredible. Now she did, and she was already marketing before she joined my training program. But by joining us, by learning the new techniques, and also by following my strategy and having my assistants on the group coaching calls that I am always there for, she was able to do that and really change her life over time. And you can do the same. Letting agents are a great source of deal finders. You know, they're completely out there. And again, you don't necessarily, if you're doing HMOs, you can market the rooms, but you could potentially say to the agent, can you market as well? At the end of the day, we want to get paid and everything like that, but we'll pay you a tenant finder's fee if you find any tenants that want to live in our area that want to stay in the HMOs. And potentially, again, look for letting agents that aren't predominantly big with HMOs, that are more of a buy-to-let, and then go in and speak to them and just say, have you got an HMO or have you got a few? Some might have a few. Now, there's more and more HMOs out there, but what they tend to do is the landlords tend to go for the HMO managers. So if you're looking at letting agencies that are more buy-to-let, but do have a few HMOs, they may want to work with you. They may need your help to take away the hassle there, because it is a different kettle of fish managing HMOs to single lets. Again, if it's single lets and you're looking for serviced accommodation, then that's perfect. So you've got the best of both worlds and best of both angles. I started on the HMO and I'm moving into serviced accommodation now. I don't manage them. I have a management team that control and support and do that for me. But it's a great way to get in there and to build up a bit more wealth in your businesses, and to also make property a little bit more passive if you can. So tip number 5 really from me is make sure you can follow through on what you say. So if you're new to this, or even if you're not, maybe you've got a few deals and everything like that, don't say, I can promise you the worth, I can promise you the world, and not be able to deliver. Do make sure that what you're going to deliver is good, and make sure that you do deliver on your promises, and make sure that you over-deliver. If you can over-deliver, if you can do a job and say, this is what we're going to do bang, 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 it's going to be superb, and then make sure you go above and beyond in what you are trying to achieve and what you're going to do, then they're going to be more inclined to work with you. Sometimes agents won't work with you directly, in which case then you can always say, if you do have a property that's maybe outside of your area or not a property you want to take on, would you refer us and leave them some business cards, maybe a brochure or something like that? Would you refer us, and we'll pay you very much like a tenant finder's fee, a fee for referring us, in which case, you guys get some money for something that doesn't work, as long as we do the deal. So that's very important as well. And it's not just a couple of £100 because you've said, Joe Bloggs over there has got a house. If we do the deal, we'll pay you a referral fee. And they might be, well, what guarantees that you're going to do that? Because we want more referrals. We want you to keep them coming. If it works for you, it works for us. So letting agents are a fantastic source of finding deals. They are a difficult source, but everything's difficult. If you go in with the right mindset, that doesn't matter what it takes, I'm going to get it done. That is the mindset that you want to go into anything with, particularly anything in property. You've got to go in with that mindset of, I'm going to do what it takes to get the results I want. That is what I've done. That is what other successful people have done. And if you do the same, you will be successful. You will be one of the success stories that we can all talk about, and you'll be happy in your life. Build the life that you want to have. I love being around my family. I love having time, freedom to get up, to be able to go on long walks, to be able to read books, to start work when I want to start work, unless there's a major emergency. That it for me is freedom. That it for me is living the dream, if I'm quite honest with you. It's not all about flashy cars. It's not all about making millions. Although, slowly and steadily you can build up to making more and more money, which is always good as well. But it's about being there for my family and enjoying my family time, being able to afford to do nice things, to go to nice places, and you can do the same. But again, you have to stay the course, and you have to realize that it might not happen overnight. Don't get me wrong, some people, it does happen very quickly. And others, it can take longer. But stick with it, and you can make it happen, okay? So I hope this has helped you. I hope this has given you a bit of an understanding about how to tap into letting agents. But equally, remember, a lot won't want to work with you. A lot won't want to hear what you've got to say. So that's normal. Rejection is normal. Get used to it. Get used to it. There's no harm in it whatsoever. No doesn't mean no. It just means not now. So you can always leave it a month or so and go back and speak to these people again and see with a different approach, tweak what you're doing, but with a different approach, maybe you can get things to work. If you're struggling with anything, check out the free tools and resources in the show notes here, and also at my website, thepropertyunleashed.com. Equally to that, if you're interested in any training or one-to-one mentoring, coaching to really push you forward, to really drive your rent-to-rent business, then reach out to me. You'll find me on social media or Instagram, Facebook, anything like that. Or again, if you sign up to one of the free resources and you get the email coming through, you can just reply to that email and you'll be straight in contact with me. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and I look forward to joining you on the next video. You'll take care and bye for now.